I'm joined now in the studio by the director of the CAR26 campaign, Lois Perry. Welcome to the studio, Lois. Thanks for dropping in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I don't think it's just Tory voters. I think everybody is saying, you know, even ardent ecologists, ardent green campaigners are saying, well, maybe not right now. You know, now as our bills are soaring, we can't really afford 25% of our electricity bill to go to the government to fund windmills and solar panels
Which
and all
don't
that.
work, no. Well, actually, when my organisation, CAR26, actually commissioned the polling with YouGov, and when you take out the don't knows, it's actually a whopping 70% of Tory voters want net zero frozen and looked at again, but actually ultimately they just don't want it. And the actual overall split is, funnily enough, exactly the same as the vote for us leaving the European Union. 52, 48. Fancy that. So 52% of everybody, and that's with all the propaganda and all of the messaging that's been thrown at us relentlessly over this whole period. 52% of everybody don't want net zero. We can't afford it. The science is dodgy. No one's allowed to talk about the science, and if you are, you're a denier. You know, the whole thing needs to be looked at again. But the most important thing is that the next Tory leader needs to listen to the Tory voters, the voters at the last election, who do not want net zero. We can't afford it, and it's complete nonsense anyway, in our view.
Tell us a little bit about CAR26. You explained it to me at the weekend, but for those who weren't tuned in then, first of all, you should have been. Secondly, what is CAR26?
CAR26 was set up around COP26 last year to take the mickey, basically, out of the complete nonsense.
The fiasco that was.
The fiasco.
You mean the private jet circus?
Oh, I know. You know, so apparently we're polluting the world to fly all over the world to hotter countries. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But anyway, so CAR stands for Climate Analysis and Reason, and because there is no reason and there is no analysis, well, there hasn't been, but there seems to be now. We seem to be, you know, getting a little bit of a zeitgeist at the moment. People can't afford it. People are in energy poverty, and if they think it's bad now, wait till the winter. The next Tory leader, the next Prime Minister, has to really, really look at this. We've seen a lot of flip-flopping going around at the moment. They need to flip-flop on net zero. That's what they need to flip-flop on.
I'll tell you what I think they're guided by. I mean, Rishi Sunak is well known to be very obsessed by polls and focus groups. And
well, he should look at this one then.
Well, see, this is the counterintuitive poll, because what these polls tend to ask is, you know, do you want to save the planet? You know,
oh, yeah. Are you a bad person, yes or no?
In order to save the planet, would you pay for green... would you like to say... Yes, I would like to save the planet. Who's going to say, no, I'd like the planet to be destroyed? No one's going to say that. What they don't add, in order to save the planet, do you fancy spending about a couple of grand a month?
Yeah.
That kind of changes their mood,
yeah, it changes it slightly. And at the moment, we've got...
I'd say a couple of grand is going to be 3,300 or something.
That. You know, people can have energy bills of £500-600 a month. But where's the money coming from for that? You're going to have people being evicted from their homes. You're going to have people literally freezing to death. I tell you what, a lot more people die from the cold than they ever do from being too hot. It's absolutely ridiculous. But at the moment, we've got three sources of energy in this country. We've got electric, and we've got gas, and oh god, so what's the other? And we've got fuel. And they want to put it, the government is saying we're going to put it all onto one thing, electricity. Now, how reckless is that? To put all of our energy needs onto one thing, the electricity grid. We haven't got the capacity, and we need gas to do it. If you even believe that CO2 is causing problems with the planet, we should be fracking, because at the moment we're importing gas from other countries in massive ships that are run on diesel to bring it in. The whole thing is an absolute nonsense.
And then you have one of our big backup power stations, because don't forget, folks, Boris says the great thing about windmills and solar panels is they work. Green power works. Yeah, it doesn't when the sun's not shining and the wind's not blowing. So we have to have these backup power stations. And one of them is called Drax. Now, Drax is powered by wood chips. Now, the reason that this is acceptable to government policy is because wood is apparently renewable, recyclable. However, when you burn it, it sends a hell of a lot of pollution into the atmosphere.
And what is coal but old wood?
Yeah.
The whole thing is a madness, and those wood pellets have been shipped over from America. Again, ships, you know, with powered by diesel. It's absolutely ludicrous, and people need to realise that net zero is about making them poor, cold and hungry, and the next Tory leader needs to address this. Liz Truss is the only one that I can see at the moment who's looking at this sensibly, and all power to her.
What is her stance? Because Rishi Sunak, of course, is more of the same.
He's a woke green.
He keeps talking about his children and his grandchildren. I keep saying, well, all due respect to your children and your grandchildren, I hope they have very happy, fulfilling lives, but I'm a bit more worried about me now.
And my children.
What are you going to do about me right now?
Well, he's minted. He doesn't care about you.
So he
doesn't.
He's sticking with the green dream. Now, as far as I can work out, Liz Truss is saying that she'll look at the green levies. I mean, is she promising to abandon them? Because that's what we want.
Yeah, she's saying that she's going to look at a moratorium on them. Well, look at the moratorium on fracking. That's been going on, for nearly 10 years. So, you know, if she does a moratorium that lasts as long as the fracking one, that would be great. She is looking at it. It's been announced as well. She doesn't think the countryside should be covered in solar panels. Look, it's not perfect, her policy, but it's evolving. She does seem to care about ordinary people. Rishi doesn't care about you. He's a greenie, he's a woke, he doesn't know what a woman is, and if you look at the most recent polling, the Tory polling, they know what... he's not going to win anyway.
It does seem he's rather doomed. Now, both of them said about fracking that they bring it back. They want to resume it as long as the local communities agree. Well, I would take out that last proviso. Just say bring it back. You can always do a deal with the local communities. You can give them money.
Well, the deals are already in place, actually. And, yeah, I mean, the problem with saying about the local communities is, what if Russia comes back in and starts funding all these fake protest groups like they did last time, you know, because they never wanted us to be energy independent.
I suppose I should say allegedly, but they do suggest that Putin might have helped in the campaign to call off fracking 3 years ago, 2019, when the government banned it, because he didn't want us to have cheap energy. He wanted us to buy Russian energy.
Well, he knew what he was going to do.
We know where that all led to. Ask the Germans.
Absolutely. Look at Germany, look at Sri Lanka. In Germany, they're very kindly going to be handing out little piles of wood to houses so that they can keep warm. Well, that's great if you've got a nice house in the countryside. What about if you're on a third floor flat in a modern... Where's your wood? Where are you going to burn the wood?
Guess what else they're going to do? Reopen coal-fuelled power stations.
What a surprise.
So, you know, that's where you all end up. And by the way, China's got 1,100 coal-fuelled power stations. It's busy building 300 more and is prospecting for more coal to build more because they produce 28% of the world's population. We bring out 1%, so nothing we will do will change anything. Great to talk to you, Lois.
Lovely, thank you so much for
Lois
having me.
Perry there from CAR26. I'm Kevin O'Sullivan. Jeremy Kyle next. This is Talk TV.